Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Coffee and Stocks. Today we're going to take a look at the stock that's been in a pretty heavy downtrend since the end of 2020. It was a stock that, you could not have done it any wrong, as it was rising incredibly fast from its IPO price of about $32 all the way up to $600. And, today we are making a new low that hasn't been seen since the end of 2019. And the stock in question and the stock in discussion is called Zoom. My name is Chris. I run Elliott Wave Cafe. This is Coffee and Stocks. Let's get started. Alright, so here we are taking a look at the simple chart with just a simple moving average. This is the 150-day with no wave counts. We're going to take a look at those in a second. I just wanted to see just a pure, clean, simple, naked chart that starts back here when it IPO'd. It climbed, I think, about 70% in one day. And, it retraced, and then it created a pretty strong impulse up here when it found the top again, just around maybe November, between October and November of 2020. You could see that it's been in a downtrend ever since. This comes to show you, what happens when stocks are not behaving the way they're supposed to, and, how holding a stock and hoping that it was going to recover can lead to probably devastating losses. You can see how every time it tried to get something going, it continued to get rejected and rejected and rejected. And from what seemed to be a very simple, maybe a fourth wave correction, followed by, let's say, another fifth wave higher, it was a failure, and instead it led to a extraordinary decline trading today at about $61.43 with a low of $60.91. We continue to get rejected at this 150-day moving average. So what's going on with the stock at the moment? This is a weekly chart. If you want to see a monthly clean chart, here is how this looks, right? Just a complete round trip, even before the pandemic. And, we're basically all the way back here. This is how it looks on a daily time frames with a few more moving averages, not being able. They try to rally a few times, but still not able to get anything serious going to the upside. It continues to be, if we look up here, continues to be in a, kind of distribution mode. It's still, kind of sideways. So it's not necessarily, the distribution is not necessarily downtrending, but there is no real excitement from Wall Street yet in trying to accumulate the stock whatsoever. So it's one of those that, if you take a look at some of the rest of the market, I don't know if, there's probably plenty of stocks still that look, but I don't know if there's that many that look as ugly as Zoom looks down in here. Take a look at Starbucks, that's probably going to get and make new all-time highs. And then you look at Zoom, that it's making new 52-week lows. So two complete opposite stocks, although, you can be in Starbucks having a nice coffee using Zoom and, maybe doing a live stream, or maybe, recording a session, or changing an exchange with somebody, having an exchange, and the stock in the meantime, it completely gets destroyed. I don't know exactly where the bottom is going to be. I think we're probably getting close to it. There were plenty of reasons to believe that a couple of times before as well, but here we are again making new lows. And I'll show you basically on this chart, I'll show you a few just interesting trend lines, and then we'll go and take a look at the counts. Obviously, it's approaching, I would say a pretty strong support. It's overtaken it. And, from here, there's not much left until you're basically getting back to the IPO price. The whole thing, it's got a look of a, very large head and shoulder formation. You have, a big head in here. You have a left shoulder. You got a right shoulder. You got what we call the neckline. And then, it's not that, obviously at this, multi-year time frame, it's not that important, but that's how it looks. It's something that deteriorates. And it's basically, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 90% of the highs, if not more than that. Let's take a quick look. If I take a look right there, it's about 89, 85%. It could continue. I mean, even if it gets cut in half from here, let's say you go to $30, from 60 to 30, I don't even see that. But that's about, 94, 95%. So let's take a look at a couple of trend lines in here and see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to annotate the chart, and I will take just a simple dotted line in here. I'm going to go first and connect these two highs, right? It's going to be a long time until, that line probably gets challenged. And then we're going to take a look at another straight trend line down. I'm going to take it again and just start up at the top and connect these highs and see what's going on. So I think this is a pretty, interesting and for all intents and purposes, valid trend line. You made a swing high, you got a little bit of a connection here, then you pushed lower, you went up, you got rejected again, somewhere near the 150. Then you try to rally again, nice hammer, right? This was quite encouraging that you could probably begin something else. It got rejected, made a new low. And then you broke back the trend line, right? Now, there was plenty of reason to believe here that this was probably, at the beginning of the reversal of this trend and a move back to the upside. You say, okay, fine, if that's a decent move higher, you're getting a retest of this trend line. And then you can break again. Well, this is what happened. The stock moved and then hit the 150 day and then pushed back lower. So what's the next expectation? Well, it could be quite simple or maybe, expected that this could do that, maybe a final flush lower into this trend line. And then, we can start to recover back to the upside, or it can continue to kind of trend lower like that and continue to deteriorate. For right now, there is really nothing up here that can, really suggest, that can really suggest that the downtrend is over. It can come out of nowhere, right? This can, reverse at any time. And, there could be some massive buyers coming in, some orders. I don't know if it's that easy, but, let's see what happens. I mean, this level here at 60, right? It's been kind of tried, even if you're breaking below it. We'll see if we're going to get a weekly close below it, if we're going to get a monthly close, how many daily closes are happening before this level. And we can start to pay attention and start to look and see, hey, does this look interesting in here? Maybe for a buy, maybe, you get to be very lucky and find a low in here. And we'll take a look at the counts and see what happens. So I'm going to delete this guy out of here just because I want to show you something else. So we're going to take another trend line out of here. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect the lows. We're going to go like that. And then since we already did that big trend line, let's do a trend line that starts from here, from the, this kind of the largest correction, the largest swing high. And we're going to go down like that and connect the other line and move over like that. So now what you're noticing is that we are declining, but the decline happens at a smaller pace. It gets smaller every time it sells off. Also that these two lines are converging, and it almost appears like, in terms of Elliott Wave structure, that we might be doing some kind of an ending type diagonal, some kind of an ending structure of this entire decline. Also, what's obvious is that this move in here from those highs to these lows, it's the largest decline, the biggest and the strongest wave of this decline, right? This is the where most of the damage happened. And then you have a little bit of a correction here, and then you also have another trend line that starts at the top. I mean, not a trend line, just a move that starts there and moves here before, the first large correction begins. So if you look at this, you can already see that, you can have the first decline, correction, big decline, correction, and then this decline that is, a little bit choppy, a little bit overlapping, a little bit kind of driving itself lower here. So I think you're starting to kind of get the picture where I'm going to go with this, but we're going to go ahead and, I'm going to save this here in my watch list, and then I'm going to take this and go over to my Motive Wave software. I'm going to show you kind of what's happening in terms of the wave counts and see if we can look a little bit, inside here. I also want to show you that, well, actually, let me see, maybe I see it in here. I also want to show you what's going on in terms of relative strength. I mean, this stock, it's, there's no outperformance or anything like that. We couldn't even dream of that at the moment that it continues to move lower. I mean, it's doing so again at a lower pace in here. So that's the relative performance to the S&P 500, right? Which started back here and then it just continued to decline. So there's no real divergence. In here, the volume still kind of, I think this was on the buy that kind of happened a couple of days ago. But there is no real indication of, any large interest in here. Let me just take a look. Maybe we can see something. I'm just going to do some quick volume analysis and see if there's anything we can see. So for that, I think I need to dive down in some lower time frames in here. Maybe go to let's go to a 6-month on the daily basis and see kind of how it looks. So what I wanted to see is, the only candle that kind of had a pretty strong volume, you could say that maybe this guy here, when it pushed up above the trend line, there was some pretty decent buying coming in here, and then we fell back. This one was actually, another pretty decent buying day, coming from, coming over there. This one, there was another one in here. This one was mostly selling, right? Because let me do an open close really quickly. And I'm going to color the volume too, just so we can give us a little bit of an idea. And I'm going to do, instead of high-low close bars, we're going to do open high close. So now you can see in here, actually, right, this was a green candle. So this came as a buy, right? So that's pretty good. This came as a buy here. This came as a buy again. So we're not getting basically the latest kind of sell-off we've had was back here, but it seems that we're starting to get some decent, let's say, green bars with interest, and then that the volume on the short side are a little bit less. One could argue it's not that clear yet, but if you look at this kind of 3-4 instances, you can see that there's the buy volumes are much larger. So that's interesting. So now let's jump over and take a look at the count. I just kind of want to just show you a quick picture of kind of what's happening in relationship with the price, in relationship with some of these volumes if they start to come in, because this is basically what we will look for. We will look for if the market starts to turn from here, whenever it starts turning, that the buys that are happening, right, they start to get nice, decent green bars and more than, let's say, more than that. I just maybe get into the, maybe into the 8 million range on the daily volume, something like that. These are still fairly decent, some of these back here, right, into like maybe 5 million. But if we can squeeze a few of them up higher, then we know there's going to be buying interest in this market. For right now, it's still very subdued. So let's take a look here at Zoom, and we had a couple of swings. I'm going to delete these guys. And we're going to focus on the move from here all the way down. Now, you can see when we talked about it, I'm just going to take a simple impulse, and I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm going to change this to a, let's go to the primary degree instead. So what I know is that basically this back here, right, we say that that's the strongest move. from there to here. So this is what I think that a large third wave it happened. Now we're going to put this as a 2. We're going to talk about that. We're going to do this as a bottom of 1, origin of 1. We're going to leave the fourth wave kind of hanging up here somewhere, just kind of like that, and then we're going to leave this guy here. So the biggest corrections, wave 2 and wave 4. Well, if that's the case, that must be 1, that must be 3, and then this has got to be 5, right? So what do we have here? Let's do wave 1, and since we have a little bit of an overlap, we're going to decompose this. And you know, this is a pretty good lesson here in leading diagonal. So we're going to do a leading diagonal. You can see the software automatically kind of puts it up. You can also do it manually. Sometimes the software is wrong, so it's not, 100% accurate in kind of how it labels these. Some are clearer than others. Otherwise, sometimes you have to adjust them yourself. But you know, this looks pretty good. So you have, I'm going to do a channel. So you have, an ABC here. In a wave 1, 2, you got an ABC. In a wave 3. And then you get a 4, and then you get a 5. So listen, the rules for the leading diagonals and for ending diagonals, they're, especially for the ending, they're a little bit more serious than necessarily for the leading. So there is some room for interpretation there. But this one, I think, it kind of fits the overall look of a leading in here. That's in my view, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the wave 1. Then you go up in 2, which again, it's simple. It should be just a simple corrective move. Now here's what happens, right? You could argue that this move in here, it's an impulse, maybe a wave A, and then you get a B, and then you get a C wave. So, that C wave appears to be slightly truncated. Yes, because we haven't really gone above 406, and this happens sometimes. Can throw traders off thinking that maybe that's a wave 2 or whatnot. But I think in here it's because this move it's so impulsive. You can do an ABC and place it there. If you want to place it here, I don't think I have a problem. I don't think it really changes the nature of this decline, right? Because I mean, this is a third of a third. That's the biggest move in here. So if I place it here, then I go 1, 2. The gap down, which kind of happens in a third wave. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3. So let's decompose those. Go in an impulse. So just, I'm sure you're familiar with this. This is just a simple exercise, 3, 4. Then again, you're doing the same story back here, right? You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe an ending down in wave 5. And you have an A, B, and then up in C. Or wave 4 terminates right there, and then you're getting the next decline, which I think maybe works a little better in a way. Let's take a look here, maybe go to a daily and see how this looks. I don't think you can have a triangle, A, B, C, D, and E. You could maybe do a triangle like that. You have your wave A, B, C, D with a small E wave, and then you drop lower. You can do that as well. Let's just kind of leave it there because that looks like a 3-wave move. So you would have to be almost like a WXY because that's such a clear 3-wave move. But let's just assume that that's a 1, 2, right? That's your 3, 4, and 5. Right? So now you have a 5-wave decline. That's a problem for an ending diagonal because ending diagonals are supposed to be in a 3-wave sequence only. They cannot be 5 waves like you could have in a leading diagonal. At least that's what the book says in there. So if that's a 5-wave move, then we could have a problem. Or if this is, let's say, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. So let's see if we can decompose this as an ending diagonal. You could be in the final stages, right here. Wave 4, it's a little bit bigger than wave 2. And then wave 5, it's supposed to be smaller than wave 3. And I don't know if that's the case. Let's see. Let's do a really good calculation here. And, oh my goodness, it's exactly 100%. So based on 5v3 being equal, that means that for this to be an ending diagonal, the way I kind of have it depicted here, let's say in an ABC for a wave 1, ABC for a wave 2, ABC for a wave 3, ABC for a wave 4, ABC for a wave 5, this should be the low of the, up here at 60.33, whatever the low was, that you're done, and you should be moving higher. Now, it feels, like this would be, almost picture perfect, but I don't think that's the case. I would think that there's going to be a little bit more weakness based on kind of how everything looks. We don't know, but, it's just kind of the way the market kind of feels heavy, almost looks like it's not done selling. We'll see. I mean, if you're starting to move back above some of these levels, then yeah, obviously you can start to think that maybe that's done. Well, if that's not the case, let me just remove that. Alt-5. I did an Alt-4 by mistake. And then let's just go and let's allow it a bit more room in there. You just delete this out of the way. And then, what if we place, let's say, a wave 4 here? And this becomes an ABC, so we're going to go as an ending diagonal, and you have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, 4, and 5. Something like that. That's still going to tell us, hey, I think Zoom might still decline here, maybe until July, or when is this? I don't know, July, August, maybe for the summer, maybe not, but this would be, and I'm going to put the lines in here too. So this maybe would be in line with kind of what we saw previously in the previous chart when we were looking basically at this right here, right? At this move right there, right? So let me go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then once this is done, right? Maybe soon, maybe in a little while. If this is a leading diagonal, which appears to be the way these trends are running, the way we kind of converging in here, then we know the next move, being from here or maybe from slightly lower, we're going to have to look at some confirmations here, but it's probably going to go all the way back to the origin of the diagonal, which is wave 4. Top, either there or here, which is at about 124. So there is a chance that's going to come up here in Zoom, unless this company goes bankrupt. We never know, right? Nobody really knows kind of what's going on, right? Just because I'm putting some labels here on the chart doesn't mean that, yeah, I mean, this whole thing could be, we're just trying to use Elliott Wave to kind of guide us a little bit in here, but this whole thing could be just like that, and then go to 40 to 30, continue to die and go lower, and who knows, right? Maybe something happens, nobody uses Zoom anymore, although, I know a lot of people that do. So I don't see why this company would disappear, especially that everybody uses, hey, let's get on Zoom, let's do a Zoom, nobody really says Google Meets or, anything else. I mean, that's all I'm hearing. So in terms of brand name, I think, right, they're still the strongest out there. But the stock doesn't respond. I don't even know if Cathie Wood continues to own a bunch of this. Maybe the market is going after her, trying to kind of, get it out of the stock or something. I'm not sure. It's one of the largest positions from last I looked was a few months back. So I don't know. But that's the idea. Well, let's see. Could it be, not an ending diagonal? Could it be a simple, impulse? How would that look? Well, I think for that you would have to have a lot more lows. Let me 4 and 5. Hold on a second. Let me just fix this really quickly. Delete this out of the way. Because if that's wave 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's a 2, then you need another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, and it doesn't have to be as, it could be, as long as it's not the shortest wave in the sequence. Remember, wave 3 cannot be the shortest wave. It can be shorter than 5. It can be shorter than 1. It just cannot be the shortest. So wave 5 would have to be shorter than 3 under those conditions. So this could happen. You could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, depending on kind of how you place this and kind of how this unfolds, there's a couple of ways, and I wish I would have the perfect answer for you, but there's no such thing. It never is. There's things that are better than others. So if we watch this could unfold as a, this waveform obviously would have to stay once we know kind of where this wave 3 ends, and it would have to stay above, below 63.55. See, if I put it there, it's going to tell me wave 4 terminates. So the software automatically, like, you're not allowed to do that. Okay, unless you have, triangle stuff like, we're not going to get into that. But, so 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, and this thing goes towards, I don't know, just on a look like this, maybe back towards 30, 40, whatever this is, 47, maybe $50 is the level. I don't know, 40, 36 is the IPO. So that's the story. Now, here, I'll show you one more before I let you go. And this is going to be a little bit more interesting, not more interesting, but just another way to look at things. And this says that maybe just a thought. Why? Because I'm looking inside here and I'm saying, okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, and maybe that's the whole 3 right there. Let's say that you place this over and you go 1, 2, 1. Here, do this. If you want to have a big extended 5th wave, you could do that. 3rd wave, right? And you can have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's internal of this wave 3. Massive decline. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How about this? You ready? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that. Hold on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think that works. I was thinking that you could have a 1, 2, 3, 4 wave 4 terminating there, and then this is an ending diagonal on its own. But I would have to modify some of these. I got to think about it. I don't think it works. So I don't want to get into a lot of knitting and picking here. I think I've already probably confused you a whole lot, but between those two, I think that this is kind of running its course here slowly, right? Just it's trying to finish up the last declining sequence. I thought that this was the one that it finished, especially since this moved. But here's what happened, right? You never really gotten the confirmation of a break above 89.37. And that's why sometimes, if you wait to kind of get that, you could be, maybe happier, because then you don't have to say, oh goodness, it failed again, so then you got to try back. So remember when I put that trend line, and then you came back and, we came back and we kind of kissed it, back here, right? This was the move, but you never really gotten above that level with this latest swing, right? We have gotten back above there, right? Maybe the story would have been different already. But this is what's going on, when you got a failed move and, you get a 5-wave decline, and then, you got to begin the next sequence. Well, you got to take the previous, wave 4 of lesser degree to go fine. Now you can have a move up here and then start to go 2, 3, 4, and 5 and start to build back. So eventually that will happen if the stock is, it's going to show strength in the future. We'll see. Right now it's just getting destroyed. So, we'll see. Listen, I'm optimistic. Maybe a little bit more patient in here and just see what happens. Look for some confirmations. But I think things could start to look interesting. Definitely, buying something that's at 52-week lows, it's very painful. I mean, it could be painful because, you don't know exactly what is going to stop. So I'm not suggesting, jumping in here and starting to buy, because there's no, you have no evidence from price that anything, serious is taking place. Let me see if I mean, look, right? It's a 1-day chart. Maybe, we're going to get some kind of a hammer in here. Going to get some kind of a bullish engulfing, some kind of an outside day. You got to get, maybe, let's say, again, a big hammer like that. That could be one signal, and then followed by this to create some kind of a, morning star formation, and then you go higher. You can create an outside day where this whole thing gets above like that. Right? That could be another signal here that you might have to. So this is the type of stuff that, I personally look for. I'm trying to, get better at identifying those, and just kind of, they're giving me, more confidence that, yeah, something it's happening in here. So, again, thanks everybody for watching. Maybe a bit a longer video, but I appreciate you as always. I will see you on Saturday for the Macro Cafe. Hopefully I got time to make that. And if not, next Wednesday. And, don't forget to check out underneath the video. There's a couple links on my Substack. If you're interested, you can hit those and see what you like from there. All right. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate you. See you later. Bye-bye.